Hello, class. Today's essential question is, how do I solve multi-step equations? Today we're going to take it a step further. We're going to learn how to deal with more rigorous types of problems. So, learning intention, I'm learning to solve equations. The warm-up, it says to simplify. At this time, please pause the video and see if you can simplify on your own. I hope you tried. So as I'm looking at this, I'm looking for the biggest exponent. X to the third has the biggest exponent. I've got 2x to the third minus 5x to the third. Okay, those are all the x to the third terms. Now, I've got to go for my x squared next. So as I'm looking, I've got minus 8x squared plus x squared. Okay, x terms come next. I've only got one, and that is 3x. And finally, your numbers are always at the end. So it's minus 4 plus 7. Okay, remember, we deal with the coefficients only. The coefficients are those numbers in front. So I've got 2x to the third minus 5x to the third. I started with 2, I take away 5, that leaves me with a negative 3x to the third. For the next one, I've got negative 8 plus, if it's not there, it's understood to be 1. Negative 8 plus 1, find their difference. 8 minus 1 is 7. Keep the symbol with the larger number, minus 7x squared. The 3x comes straight down. Now, negative 4 plus 7, I find the difference again. 7 minus 4 is 3, look at my symbols. The positive goes with the 7, so it is plus 3. Okay, order of operations tells me I do what first? Go ahead and solve the next warm-up problem and see if you can do that on your own. Pause. I hope you paused the video and gave it a shot. So, nothing's going to change here, but on this side, I've got to multiply both terms by negative 2. So it's 5n plus 34 equals negative 2 times positive 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 7 is positive 14, followed by the n. Okay, draw your line. I always have you deal with the variables first. Step 1, identify which is the larger variable, 5n or 14n. 14n is correct, so I'm going to subtract 5n from both sides. 5n minus 5n is 0. (34) equals negative 2 plus 14n. Draw your line. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. It zeroes it out on this side. 34 plus 2 is 36, is equal to 14n. Okay, the last step will be to divide both sides by 14. Okay, is it going to come out evenly? Okay. Well, if you're looking at this, 14 will go into 28 twice. But 28 plus 14, is that 36? 28 plus 14, is that 36? Well, 28 plus 10 is 38, so we know that is not correct. It will not divide in evenly. So now we need to simplify. What is the largest number that will divide evenly into both 36 and 14? Well, I'm going to look at the factors of the smaller one. 14 has the factors of 1, 2, 7, and 14. Well, we've already said 14 will not divide into 36. So let's look at 2. Will 2 go into both of them? Yes. 7 will not go into 36 either. So this will equal 18 over 7. 18 over 7 is a perfectly good answer. If you want to change it into a compound number, that means a number with a fraction. Okay, we know that the next smaller number that 7 goes into evenly would be 14. So this would be 14 over 7 plus 4 over 7. And that gives me 2 and 4 over 7. And we're done. Okay, when you're solving multi-step equations, 2 things to remember. Use order of operations to simplify both sides of the equal sign. Use your inverse operations to isolate the variable. So if you're starting, the first thing you've always got to do is make sure both sides of your equal sign are simplified. I've got 6 equals 1 minus 2n plus 5. Well, I know I can add the 5 and the 1 together. So with the commutative property, I'm going to change the order. So I've got my numbers together. Now I'll simplify. 6 is equal to negative 2n plus 6. Last thing to do is to simplify by using inverse operations. Okay, I've started with negative number. I've multiplied by negative 2, and then I add 6. The last thing I did was to add 6. First thing I have to do is to undo that. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. I've zeroed it out there. And guess what? I've zeroed it out on the other side too. 0 is equal to negative 2n. At this point, you should know what the answer is, because when I divide by negative 2, I'll have n is equal to 0. Okay, let's do a quick check. 1 minus 2 times 0, 2 times 0 is 0, plus 5. So it's 1 minus 0 plus 5, which gives me 6, and I've found the correct answer. Okay, so let's look at this problem. I hate working with fractions if I don't have to. How can I get rid of that 1/5? What can I multiply by to get 1? What is the reciprocal of 1/5? Well, that would be 5, or 5 over 1. Okay, any questions? Okay, so let's start. This is gone. So I've got 3x plus 5 is equal to 10 times x minus 3. Now I'm ready to distribute. I've got to distribute the 10 to both of my terms in my parentheses. 3x plus 5 is equal to 10x minus 30. Okay, step 1. Which of my variables will be bigger, 3x or 10x? Well, 10x. So I will subtract 3x from both sides. This enables me not to work with negative and a negative coefficient on my exponent. So this is zeroed out. I've gotten rid of it. 5 is equal to 10 minus 3 is 7, x minus 30. Next step. Get all your numbers. So I'm going to add 30 to both sides. $35 is equal to 7x. Divide by 7. And x is equal to 5. Okay, any questions? Okay, so 3 times 5 is 15, plus 5 is 20, times 1/5 or divide by 5 is 4. Okay, 5 minus 3 is 2, times 2 is 4. So I've got the correct answer. I did the quick check with my brain. Okay, so what do we do first on this one? Can we simplify anything in parentheses? Okay, so let's distribute because we can't. We distribute all the way across. Okay, negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 5x, negative times negative is a positive. 5 times 5 is 25x. Positive 5 times negative 8x is negative 40x. Positive 5 times negative 2 is negative 10 is equal to. Now, I'm going to go ahead and simplify this. Negative 4x minus 8x. Negative 4 minus 8 more. Combine them with addition. 4 plus 8 is 12. Keep your negative sign. 12x. Okay, let's combine our like terms. Let's start with our variable. Okay, 25 minus 40. 25 minus 40, opposite sign, so I subtract. 40 minus 25 is 15, and it will be a negative 15 because the 40 is negative. Okay, what about our numbers? I've got negative 5 minus 10. Negative 5 minus 10 more, they're both negatives. Combine them with addition. 5 plus 10 is 15, so it's minus 15 equals negative 12x. Okay, in this case, which would be smaller, negative 15x or negative 12x? If you said negative 15x, you would be correct. So to get rid of my negative coefficient, I'm going to add 15x to both sides. It's zeroed out here. Negative 15 is equal to, okay, they're opposite operation or opposite symbols. 15 minus 12 is 3, so this becomes 3x. Last step. Divide both sides by 3, and negative 5 is equal to x. Okay, when we're working with equations, there's different types of solutions we can have. So as we go through the next 3 problems, I'll have you start working them. and then we'll look at it and see what happens. So go ahead and start with the first one. I hope you tried to do a little bit of it on your own. Remember, we have to simplify. We've got to distribute that -7. 36 minus 7p is equal to -7p. And then -7 times -5 is plus 35. Okay, so I'm going to take a minute and look. I've got -7p on both sides. This side I'm adding 36, this side I'm adding 35. Think logically. What's going to happen? Okay. Add 7p to both sides. I've got no p's left. They've been eliminated. And my solution says that 36 is equal to 35. When is 36 equal to 35? Well, it's not in your lifetime. So if your variables eliminate and you're left with an untrue statement, 36 is not equal to 35. In this case, there is no solution. Because you've got two numbers that are not equal. You've got a statement that you end up with that can never, ever be true. Okay, let's look at the next one. Once again, we have to distribute. -4 times v is -4v. -4 times +3 is -12. Okay, on this side I've got -12 minus 4v. Okay, start off eliminating your variable. The opposite of -4v is +4v. +4v over here. I've eliminated it on both sides, just like I did last time. But this time, something interesting is happening. I've got -12 is equal to -12. When does that happen? That's always, always true. So in this case, this would be, the solution set would be the set of all real numbers. Anything you put in there is going to work. Okay, remember we learned the symbol for real numbers. Okay, on the last one. So the first one, there's no solution because it can never ever happen. The second one, it always happens, so there is all the real numbers. For the third one, first thing we're going to do is to distribute. Okay, 8x plus 38 equals -3 times -6 is +18. -3 times -4x is +12x. I am now ready to start simplifying. Which is bigger, 8x or 12x? 12x would be correct most of the time. So I'm going to subtract 8x from both sides, so I work with positive coefficients. I've gotten rid of it on this side. 38 is equal to 18 plus 12 minus 8 is 4x. Okay, now I want to get rid of my numbers. I've got to get this isolated. So I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides. Okay, this is gone. 38 minus 18 leaves me with 20. 20 is equal to 4x. Last step is to divide both sides by 20. By 4, I'm sorry. Divide both sides by 4. and 5 is equal to x. In this case, there is only one solution. So as you're looking at these, first, if it can never ever happen, then we know there's no solution to the set. If it will always happen, that means the whole set of real numbers will fit in there. Any number you put in will make it correct. If you end up with x is equal to something, you only have one solution. So I know I'm successful when I can solve multi-step equations and identify the number of solutions an equation will have. Okay, so remember the number of solutions can be none, one, or the whole real step. But please get your practice done.